video. If you're new here, my name is Natasha, and today, as you can probably tell, I am so under the weather. I don't feel good. So I'm going to walk you through what I do for my lupus when I know that I'm getting a flare-up. So there's three major things that I do to try to alleviate some of the stress on myself and on my body. It is not an option for me to just lay in bed all day. I wish it was, but it's not. I have young children. I have a household to run. I have animals that need to be tended to. Thankfully, today I don't have to clean out the monkey enclosure. I did that a couple days ago, so that is still okay to extend a little bit longer. So I'm gonna alleviate the stress of my life a little bit differently than what I would have if I needed to get that done. So the main thing that I want to stress is if you do have an autoimmune disease or you have an illness and you are still trying to prep and still trying to stay on budget, is you really got to pre-plan everything. This is pre-planned into our budget for me to have days like this, thankfully. Most of the time I take dinner and I make it from scratch. I do a lot of scratch cooking. That saves us money. It doesn't save me any time, but it does save us a lot of money, which then allows me to be able to kind of take some shortcuts on days like this. The first thing that I do is I alleviate the stress of dinner. Dinner for me is like super stressful sometimes because I am cooking from scratch. I have to time out when I'm rising dough or when I'm putting this in the oven versus that in the oven. And there's a lot of going back and forth around the kitchen, and the kitchen gets dirty, which then equals dishes. And right now my dishwasher's broke. So that equals hand washing. So today I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm gonna show you my easy peasy chicken and rice recipe. This is something that actually my family really all likes. So the very first thing that I do to help alleviate my lupus symptoms, as I can feel them coming on, when my face is starting to get the butterfly rash, my eyes are really swollen and puffy, you can hear it in the back of my neck. The very first thing that I do is I eliminate foods. This may or may not be for everyone, but for me, I have a couple of food groups that I am intolerant to. I'm intolerant to dairy, onions, and chicken. I know, like chicken, what the heck. These have all been confirmed by a blood test. My body just does not digest them very well. So in order to alleviate stress on my body, I don't consume those when I know I'm getting a lupus flare. So I take out dairy. I don't eat a ton of dairy naturally or day to day anyways, but I do like things like cottage cheese. It's high in protein, low calories. And, you know, there's just Greek yogurt. I have that every now and then when I want to make like a dip. It's very expensive to be buying vegan cream cheese and plant-based things. So in order to alleviate that, I do add in some regular dairy items during the month to kind of alleviate having to buy a $6 small thing of plant-based cream cheese because that was just ridiculous. It's probably $7 or $8 now. So that is how I get around that with my budget. Foods that inflame your body. Now this could be different for everybody. I also lower my caffeine intake. I know that right now the one thing that I really want is a bunch of caffeine just to try to perk me up so I can get through this day. But I know that that also leads to extra inflammation, and I'm trying to take that away from my body so that way I don't have a full flare-up and maybe I just have this and tomorrow I feel better. I know that this flare personally was caused by me overdoing it. I filmed a couple days ago of me cleaning out the chicken coop, which you probably saw yesterday. And then the next day I put up the indoor greenhouse, and I attempted to do that by myself because that's just who I am. I don't like asking for help. And after probably 2 hours of being extremely frustrated and in tears, I went and got my 18-year-old son to come help me, and we were able to knock it out in 30-40 minutes. But when I say my shoulders and my arms are so tender, I feel like I worked out for like a year. And that means that my body I put it through too much. So the last couple days I've done some big projects, and then after I did that, I didn't stop. I went and I cleaned out the whole patio room, which I should have just left for another day. Then I came up here to the monkey room and started messing around too. This is a problem, friends. I just need to woosah. So I eliminate foods that I know are going to cause more inflammation. I also make dinner a lot easier than I normally would. So I like to cook things from scratch most of the time throughout the month, but we do have budgeted in for a couple of days when I just tank. Usually about two to three times a month. In the summertime months, it's a little bit more because of the sun exposure. But what I do is I make dinners easy. So I'm going to show you my easy crock pot chicken and rice dinner that the kids all absolutely love. This makes more than enough for 4 people, plus has extras for the lunch tomorrow. So that's always really nice. Then my son can have leftovers the next day and I don't have to worry about that. So if I do tank even more, it allows me to have lunch already done as well. So let's go down to the kitchen and I will show you this easy peasy dinner recipe. Takes a crock pot, some chicken thighs, some seasonings, a couple cans. That's it. Okay, so I just have some chicken thighs. This is about $4 worth of chicken thighs. They are boneless and skinless. So I'm not even going to trim them. I'm just gonna toss them in. So I put these on the bottom. We actually call this recipe chicken goop. I don't know why. We should just call it chicken and rice because chicken goop doesn't sound very yummy, but everyone loves this meal. So this meal is kind of flexible. You can add your veggies in. I'm going to this time just because I don't want to have to cook them on the side later. Or you could leave the veggies out. It's completely up to you. I've made it both ways. Both ways, it's delicious. So the next thing I'm going to do is just put in 3 cans of cream of chicken soup. I have 2 cans of the Campbell's and 1 can of the Meyer brand of the 98% fat free. So this one is a different color than the other 2. And I do find that this one's a little bit more runny, so I wouldn't use all 3 of the Meyer brand because it's just extra runny. And that one wasn't too bad. And 3. This also works with frozen chicken. So you can use chicken breast, you can use chicken thighs, boneless and skinless chicken thighs, and it works beautifully with those as well. So there have been times I've used frozen chicken and just put it on high a little bit longer. I'm gonna do about half a tablespoon of fresh minced garlic because I'm not mincing any garlic right now. Same thing with my onions. This is dehydrated onion because I'm also not going to chop no onions today. I'm just doing a very healthy here. Got a can of corn. Corn is probably the one thing that we really enjoy, and I'm going to do half a can of this because I do have leftover corn over here, and it looks a bit funny because it went too long in my canner, so it's actually kind of disgusting looking, but I promise it is still okay, still edible, and tastes like corn. So we're just going to throw the rest of that in there. Next thing I'm gonna add is some carrots. then I'm gonna add all of my seasonings. I'm gonna do some Lowry's seasoning salt. I'm gonna do about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And then a lot of pepper. Give that a big old stir. If you're wondering what I'm going to do with the rest of that corn, it is actually going to go for Ollie's food bowls. For some reason, he prefers the canned corn over my home canned corn. I don't know why. He's picky like that. So that is why I did that way instead of just dumping in all of mine. I know Ollie won't eat a whole can of corn. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We're gonna put this on low for 6 hours because it's only 10:30 in the morning. Or if you have frozen chicken, you can put it on high for 6 hours. Okay, there we go. And then we pair this with white rice, and that extends out the chicken goop and makes it last for multiple meals. This will actually probably be 2 full meals. I added in a lot of filler items this time. But you can add in anything you have. You got mixed vegetables, add it in there. If you have frozen chicken, add it in there. This recipe is just very versatile, and you can always do more rice versus chicken to save yourself money on meat. Make it how you like it, season it how you like it. This is how we like it. So I will see you back when this is done. So the second item that I do when I am having a lupus flare is I get everything done in the morning. When you have an autoimmune disease like lupus, it tends to manifest even more during the day and nighttime. So while I have somewhat of a little bit of energy, I am going to do things that normally I wouldn't do until later in the day. But I'm going to do them now. So usually I don't homeschool in the morning, I homeschool in the afternoon. But instead we're gonna switch our schedule, and I'm gonna start Xylie's homeschooling now and get that out of the way. Because if I do need to lay down, or I do need to just kind of take a breather and have Luke step in, that stuff will already be done and he won't have to worry about that. The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go feed my chickens. I don't usually do this until about 3-ish on a normal day, but what the heck, they'll be okay if they have food at 10 o'clock, right? So we're gonna go get that stuff done. It's extremely important to get the stuff done that you need to get done before you tank. So we are going to go get that done. And I will also say the other thing that I try not to do when I am starting to get a lupus flare, I try not to start projects, okay? So like right now my freeze dryer is about to be done. I am not going to put anything else in it for a day or two. And I know that's not necessarily cost effective and all this other stuff, but because I don't feel well, I need to take stuff off of my plate. And that is just something else that I would have to watch and manage. I try not to can. I try not to start seedlings or start projects in the garden or start household projects. Try to hold back on that. That's very hard for me. If you guys have watched any of my content, you know that is very hard for me. I am a very busybody person. I have to be doing something all of the time. If not, it's not good for my mental state. So I'm gonna go do that, get these chickens fed, and then we're gonna go in and homeschool Xylee. I will also say very quickly, since a lot of you have come over from Ollie's channel, if Ollie's cage needed cleaned on a day like today, I would do that absolutely first thing when I woke up, because that takes a lot of energy from me. It's very exhausting to do, and it's a long process. It takes me about an hour on a good day, and when I feel kind of like this, it would probably take an hour and a half. So that is something I would get done right away. I would get dinner in the crock pot and I would do that, because those two things need to be absolutely done. Because we don't have that extra money to just say, okay, we'll just go out to eat or we'll just order takeout. That's not an option for us here at the Budget Preppers. So we have to continue to make homemade meals, but we're gonna make them fast and easy. So that's what I do when it comes to projects like that or tasks like that, is I just get those done and out of the way in the morning. All right, and number 3, the very last thing I do for my lupus when I'm starting to get a flare, I make sure to take my vitamins. It's not necessarily very consistent with this, so when I do start getting a flare, these are the ones I start taking right away. So I have a multivitamin. This is a prenatal. I'm not pregnant nor trying to be pregnant. It was just on sale. Okay, we're budget prepping here, and these were on sale for like $2. So bought a bunch of them. I have vitamin C, vitamin B12, because I do eat mostly plant-based. Not all the time, but probably 85% of the time. I'm just not a huge meat eater in general, so got to get our B12 in. And then last but not least, this one is D3, and that is because of the lupus. I'm not supposed to be out in the sun and have sun exposure. So I do try to take this one in the multivitamin every day, but like I said, sometimes I'm just not consistent. And recently I have not been, and I need to be, since the sun is starting to come out and shine a little bit more. I need to start taking them. So those are the top 3 things that I do when I am starting to get a flare, and hopefully that reduces it down, diminishes it, and it goes away before it goes into a full flare. Remember, if you do have some sort of illness or sickness, be sure to prep those stockpile those items that you need in case something does happen. So long-term, store some of these if you can. The best thing you can do for medications is to put them in the freezer. I've heard for a lot of them that will extend the shelf life of them a lot longer past their expiration date. So if you are somebody like me who is dealing with a chronic illness, make sure you put this type of thing in your preps when you can catch them on sale. Like I said, these prenatals were on sale for like $2 a bottle at Ingles, and I bought like 6 or 7 of them. I wiped out the shelf because you never see multivitamins like that on sale. So keep your eyes peeled and catch things on sale when you can. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you tomorrow.